Hello and welcome to day 29 of 30 days of doodles. Today we are going to be doing some pet doodles. So these are going to be a little tougher than what we've done before. So we'll just get started with our first animal, which is going to be a dog. So we're going to start out with a vertical oval on top, and then we're going to add a circle on the bottom. So the oval on top is the head and the circle is going to be the body. And we're going to refine this oval to make the top narrower. So I want you to think of like an egg shape or an avocado, and we're just going to kind of narrow it out. Now down on the body, we're going to make two slightly curved arch shapes that arch in on each other, and those are for the dog's front feet. So then at the bottom, we'll add some little rounded bits for the feet, and then we'll just kind of refine the body shape. So you don't want this just perfect circle. You want it a little narrower at the top and then a little wider at the bottom. And then for the hind legs, we're going to create these little arch shapes that kind of dip back in towards the body, and then little ovals for the feet. And then for the ears, I'm just kind of adding almost little ovals to the side, and then they kind of point out to look like they're hanging off the side of the dog's head. So now we're going to go in with our pen and we're going to trace over the outline of our dog before we add his facial features and all the other stuff. So I'm going around the entire head because the head sits in front of the body rather than just connecting the head and the body. And then we'll go around the entire body as well, not crossing over the front feet. So keeping the front feet separate from the body and making sure that they are in front of the lines that make up the body. And then lastly, we will add on those hind legs. From here, we're going to want to erase all of the guidelines that we drew first, just so that we can have a clean template when we go in to add some of these smaller features. So the first thing we want to do, which we could have done earlier and we just didn't, is add the tail. So it's going to kind of stick out behind the body and then the hind leg. And then we'll add the facial features. So I just went with a very cartoony feel, so I just did two little dots for an eyes and then a rounded triangle shape for the nose. And then I just put these little curved lines down for the mouth, and then we'll go over all of this again with our pen. And I did add these little lines by the end of the tail to just make it look like the dog's tail was wagging. Feel free to leave them out if you don't want them there. Next, we're going to move on to the cat, which is going to be a little bit tougher than the dog. It has three shapes to the head and body. So we'll start with the head, and we're just going to create this horizontal oval shape. And then for this first part of the body, which is like the top part, which is like the chest area, we're just creating this rounded U shape. And then inside of that, we're going to create a rounded triangle for the bottom half of the cat, so it's hind legs and rear end. From here on the middle shape, what we're going to do is we're going to draw the cat's front legs. So we're just going to extend the bottom part of that U shape. So where they start to turn under, we're going to extend it down to create two front legs for the cat. And then the same as we did with the dog, just round out the bottom for those bottom paws. And then we will start refining the body of the cat. So we don't want this perfectly triangle shape. We're just going to kind of round it out. And the back ends of those triangles, that is where the hind legs will be. So we'll add some little oval shapes on the end there, and those will be the feet. And then I tucked the body in, so the body kind of comes in and then it makes the little foot. And then I added on a curly tail, and now we'll round out this cat's head. Not round it out, but give it some points, and not so that it's just a basic oval. And then we will add two rounded triangles to the top of the cat's head for its ears. And we'll go ahead and draw the cat's face. So for the mouth, I just did a little W shape. And for the nose, I did a little oval. And then for the eyes, I did circles just like we did with the dog. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our pen to outline everything we have done. So I'm going to trace over the cat's entire head first, again separating it from the body so that there are two different elements and they don't just run together. And then we'll do the ears and the face before moving on to the body. Now, when you move on to the body, you do not want to trace that entire U shape that is the center shape. You want to instead trace that middle part of the body and then bring it all the way down to the legs and then back up to where the legs meet that chest portion of the cat. and then we'll go over both the hind legs and the tail. Once you've traced over all your lines, go ahead and grab your eraser and erase all your pencil marks that you have left over. And then we'll grab our smaller pen and we'll add our final details. So what I did is I just made another smaller triangle inside each of the ears and then added some whiskers. So I just did 3 straight lines coming out of the cat's cheek on each side. Moving on to our last doodle for today, we are going to do a fishbowl. So we're just going to draw a circle to start with, and this is going to give us the general shape of our fishbowl. It doesn't have to be perfect, just sketch out a pretty decent circle. And then we will add this very tiny narrow oval at the bottom for the base of the fishbowl and where it would sit flat, because we can't just have a ball or our fish would be rolling all over. So now trace up the sides of your circle about 2/3 of the way, and then we'll create the lip of the bowl. So we're going to add another thin oval there that is slightly curved, and then we add in the back edge of the bowl, so another rounded line, much like we've done before with cups and bowls and other cylinder kind of shapes. So now we'll go ahead and we'll trace over the bowl that we've made, so not over the circle but over the bowl itself. So that bottom oval, that 2/3 of the circle, and then the top rim, and then the back rim of the fishbowl. Once you're done outlining your fishbowl, go ahead and erase all your guidelines so that we can start fresh with the inside of this bowl and give it some character and some different elements on the interior. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some sand. I am going to zoom in here for these smaller parts. And then we can add these wavy lines for like seaweed or live plants that are in the fishbowl as well. I did 3. And then I'm also adding some rock shapes in here. So these aren't like perfect circles or perfect ovals. I just kind of made some circular style shapes in different sizes and just kind of all over the bowl. It doesn't have to be anywhere specific, and they can be overlapping. And then we'll add in the water in the bowl, so just another very slightly wavy line, and you can add another behind it to give it some depth. And then we'll draw our fish. So I'm just gonna draw this little circle for the fish's body, and then we will point the back end of that where his tail will be, and then give him these little fins. And to do that, I just made a triangle and then made it into 2 little teardrop shapes. And I gave him 2 little triangular fins on top and bottom. So now you can go in and you can outline all of the stuff that we just drew inside the bowl, and then go ahead and erase all of your pencil lines. And one more thing, right here I am going to add some details that I didn't add in pencil first, so I'm just giving this little fish an eye, and then I gave him 2 little lips in front just to give him some personality and character. I think he looks really cute and kind of cartoony, but you can make your fish look any way you want. If you don't want to add the lips or the eye, that's fine too. Okay guys, that wraps up day 29 of this doodle series. We only have tomorrow left. I cannot believe it. It's crazy that we've made it this far, and I've loved seeing everything you guys have done. Please continue to tag me on Instagram at the Petite Planner and use the hashtag 30 Days of Doodles with TPP. I love seeing what you guys are doing, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our last video.